It's time for the Frangie Show on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
All right, we welcome you aboard, and I will tell you the new drug today's Getaway Day, Carline.
That's right.
It's Getaway Day today is my last day here.
How about that?
I'm headed across the pond.
We won't see you until November.
Yeah, that's actually correct. That's actually correct. 'Cause I'll be gone next week too, so I'm taking a little time off. But yeah, heading to London tomorrow. Very interested to see how this team manages London. How this team, they go every year, but how this new configuration, if you will, manages London. Got a good feeling about it, but I'll be interested to see. Liam Cohen wanted to go on Monday, so they will have been there all week long. You'll hear Jaguar programming, by the way, tomorrow from 4 to 6 from London. So our show, which will be Hayes and Hacker, will be here 2 to 4 tomorrow. So it'll be interesting to see that. So we'll talk about that. We got a lot to do on the program. We got a Duval County Scholar Athlete coming up almost right out of the gate here. So we're going to say hello to our Duval County student athlete from Mandarin High. We're certainly looking forward to that. So that comes up in just a few minutes. Also, Brett Hastings will be right after that. Interesting sports and courts today. Brett is going to talk about the coaching contracts and what really goes into a coaching contract, the buyouts. Is there offset language usually? Is there not? All this stuff going on. It's very pertinent, I thought. I'm looking forward to that part.
Without a doubt. And what is the next evolution of the coaching contract? Because you're insane if you're going to continue to give these guys 6-year, $60 million fully guaranteed deals without putting some caveat in. We saw it with Arkansas's deal with Pittman. But look, I mean, if a coach is under 500, they shouldn't get a buyout. And with the NIL and the revenue sharing really draining resources, I will be interested in seeing if there's any pushback from these schools on, look, we can't do these deals anymore. And if your guy doesn't want to come, then that's fine. We'll move on to somebody that will take this job for this amount of money. But we can no longer – and again, I think this carousel will be a good litmus test of that. So we will see if the industry changes or if it just keeps right on going and, you just keep seeing buyouts over $50 million.
And that the real challenge there, and again, we'll get into this with Brett when he gets here, but the real challenge in this, Hayes, is you've had to give these buyouts because Jimmy Sexton he's the agent for all the coaches, where if you don't give him this, he's not taking the job. Well, you have to change, to your point, because I agree with you, you have to change the culture in such a way that, well, you might as well take the job because none of these other schools are going to give it to you either. If one school messes up and says, yeah, we'll give you the $70 million buyout, well, is that the school that gets the coach? Yeah, it almost has to be legal collusion. Yeah, as much as you hate to say that, right? I mean, I think that may be the only way to correct us.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's going to start with, a strong school that's willing to do that. And it may never come. I mean, it may be that, look, if you're Florida, are you going to be in a position to lowball a Lane Kiffin because you're trying to be the one that makes a stand on this? I don't think if you're Florida, you can.
I don't either.
I don't think if you're Penn State, you can. You just fired a coach that won 36 games, so you probably have to go out and hire as much of a proven rock star as you can. But where I do think it's interesting is for schools like maybe in Arkansas. When you're not going to get the elite guy, and let's say they don't want Petrino to stay on, and you are going to venture into the Golish, the Summerall, the coach, the hot coach at a lower level program, and say, look, we'd like to have you. We're going to give you this opportunity where you've got a much better chance to win. We're going to give you the NIL resources, but we're just not. This is no longer a climate where we can give you a 7-year contract for $70 million and you get all of it if you stink for 3 years.
Right, and I think you hit it. The major schools can't start that way, but you have to begin. And you're exactly right. Of all the things, I will tell you, conference commissioners' biggest concern is the players changing teams every year. The second biggest one is these incredible buyouts. That is their other concern. So anyway, we'll get back to that more in just a minute. But right now, we're going to say hello to our Duval County Scholar Athlete of the Week, and we're excited about doing this. She is from Mandarin High School in Madeline. And Madeline, you're going to have to tell me how to pronounce your name in just 1 second, okay? Fire it up, JJ.
Hey, let's go!
And now,
this week's Scholar Athlete of the Week. Brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists and the Plumbers and Pipe Fitters Local Union 234 on 1010XL.
All right, our Duval County Scholar Athlete of the Week is Madeline Meneha. Did we get it right?
Yes.
I'm 1 for 1?
Yes.
Okay, very good. So she is our Duval County Scholar Athlete. Congratulations.
Thank you.
It's
Thank you
nice,
for having me.
nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
So we're going to talk all about you're a swimmer and you're a flag football player, and you've done that the whole time at Mandarin.
Yes.
Let's start with swimming. Tell us about your swimming career.
So I started swimming when I was about 9 years old. That's when I started, and it was just kind of off and on between them. I swam for bowls a little bit in 8th grade, and then I picked it up 9th grade, and I just kept going with it.
What do you like about it? What do you like about swimming?
I just love the community we have for swimming. I've always had such a close bond with all my teammates. I think that really makes my year every time.
And how did you get involved in flag football?
Actually, one of my swim teammates, she was someone who took me under her wing, and she introduced me into flag football. And then I tried out for the team. I was really nervous, but she made me try out with her, and I actually ended up enjoying it a lot.
Very cool.
What events do you participate in swimming?
I usually do the 200 IM and then 100 breaststroke, and then for relays I do the 4 free relay and then the 200 medley relay.
How much practice goes into that to staying sharp in all those different disciplines?
Oh, we do practice all throughout the season, just even summer conditioning and getting that in, but just throughout the week, and just really having that discipline is really helpful to make sure I execute the way I want to.
Tell me about flag football. What position do you play, and tell me what you like about that.
I do linebacker in flag football. I love playing linebacker. It's so fun. I love playing with the girls around me. It's just different from swim, because swim is just an individual sport, but with flag you're all working together, screaming at each other to get to places, get to the ball, and it's just the most amazing thing ever.
She had a look on her face. I got a little. I kind of moved over a little bit. I got
the samurai.
That's exactly right.
That's awesome. What did you feel that you had instincts for playing linebacker immediately, and how would you assess the strengths of your game?
So I actually didn't start out playing linebacker. I started out playing corner my freshman year. And then sophomore year, my coach was like, we'll move you to linebacker because just how aggressive you are, and just because you can attack the ball. And that's when I started playing linebacker. And that's when it started to get that's
I'm telling you now. I'm glad it's flag, okay, because someone's getting hurt if it's not. So you're right. Well, tell us a little bit about your college plans. What do you want to do down the road? Where are you headed?
So I actually just toured UF.
Very cool.
Yesterday. So that's my dream school. I really want to go there and hopefully study psychology there.
Tell me about the tour. What all did you do on the tour of UF?
It was just an hour-long walking tour, and we just walked around the campus. It's so pretty there. And then we were just talking with our tour guide, who's also a student there, and just getting to know a little bit more about the school from someone who actually went there.
Very cool.
Is Florida your top choice?
Yes.
Oh, that's awesome. When do you think when do you find out?
January. That's when early decision comes out.
Okay, you're going to get in. Are you confident?
I hope so.
You should be. I went there. It's a great place. I can tell you, it's a really good place. You want to study psychology? Tell me about that a little bit.
Over summer, I started researching what I wanted to do, and I was trying to figure out something that really interested me. And I feel like psychology is just something being around people is something I really enjoy, and that's when I started discovering that maybe that's something I would want to go into.
You've been doing the yearbook for a while and co-editor-in-chief. How rewarding has that been, being a part of putting the yearbook together?
Oh, the most rewarding thing ever at the end of the year. When it's all done and you see everything all together. And just distribution day is my favorite because, at the end of the year, you can see everybody, looking for themselves in the book. And we do our best to put everyone in the book. And, just seeing everybody's reaction to it because it's a surprise for everybody else who's not making it. That's the best thing.
Well, that's exciting. Well, Madeline Meneha is our Duval County Scholar Athlete of the Week. She's a very good student and very good at both swim and flag football. Be careful if you're ever playing a pickup game. I'm just going to say that. I'm going to tell the world right now, be careful if you're playing a pickup game with Madeline. But congratulations. It's great to meet you. And congratulations. Great to have you as our Duval County Scholar Athlete of the Week.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
All right. Madeline Meneha. She's our Duval County Scholar Athlete of the Week. We'll take a break. After this, Brett Hastings stops by at Sports and Court. Stay with us.
The Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Frank Frangie here. I've got to admit, I didn't always love my lawn. I tried everything. The secret I finally learned is professional top dressing. I chose the experts, topdressing.com, and it turns out the weather right now is the perfect time to do it. I had them come out to my home already. They aerated my lawn with the precision the golf course pros use. It's already looking like I'll have the king lawn of the block. If you want a truly smooth, lush, dark green lawn, call 888-850-1850. Top dress your lawn like a pro with topdressing.com.
4th and goal at the 1. They set up in the eye.
When you add up the moments and break down the best,
It's a hostile environment.
you're left with a performance-painting, high-performance play of the game
Up in the air, it is caught!
on 1010XL.
Frank Frangie here from my friend and insurance agent Craig Dewhurst. Craig has been helping families on the First Coast with their insurance needs for 25 years as your good neighbor and local State Farm agent. Now's a great time to review your insurance policies, whether you need auto, homeowners, or renter's insurance, or insurance for your golf cart, boat, or jet skis. Craig handles all of my family's insurance needs, and even better, he gives back to the community. Call Craig today at 904-940-9740. That's 904-940-9740.
When it comes to your utility bill, JEA wants to help you use less so you can save more. We offer a variety of free programs, like efficiency and irrigation assessments that'll teach you ways to conserve energy and water around your home. Our alerts will let you know when your utility usage has reached a set amount, and our rebates can help you save when upgrading to more efficient appliances and equipment. Find even more ways to save at JEA.com.
This date in sports history is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On October 15, 1966, Bill Russell becomes the NBA's first black head coach when he was designated as player coach of the Boston Celtics, winning in his coaching debut over the Warriors.
Hey, it's Joe C. When was the last time you flushed out your water heater? Flushing a water heater each year improves its efficiency and extends its lifespan. So call Roland Reese Plumbing for a routine water heater flush out and any other plumbing needs. 260-7059. Roland Reese Plumbing.
When the unexpected happens, you shouldn't have to face it alone. I'm Chris Campione, and at Campione Law, we're here to fight for you. Whether it's an auto accident or a slip and fall, our Jacksonville team takes care of every detail, from investigating the incident to securing multi-million-dollar verdicts, so you can focus on getting better. And remember, you don't pay a dime unless we win your case. Our commitment is 24/7, bringing you the real support from real people who really care. Campione Law, your dedicated partners in justice. Visit CampioneLaw.com.
Count on Campione, Campione Law.
I'm here with Danny Van Sickle, director of the Electrical Training Alliance. Danny, tell me about your program.
Hey, Rick, we're a 4-year electrical apprenticeship. Our students start out making over $40,000 a year, and right now make over $90,000 a year, including benefits. There is no tuition or student debt. You just have to apply and get accepted.
Did you say no tuition and no student debt?
You heard that right, Rick. Once you're accepted to the program, your only cost for the books and the course fees, about $800 a year.
That sounds like an amazing opportunity. How can I learn more?
Just go to etajax.org, and you can apply there.
Apply by November 6th.
When you roll into a convenience store for some cold Bud Light, you want to make sure it's, well, cold. Check out the big coolers at Circle K. They make sure it's chilled and ready to go for the big game or party. Swing by Circle K and pick up some cold Bud Light.
Hi, I'm Amber Frangie. You know that other Frangie? Well, he's my dad. But I'm here to tell you about how much I appreciate the Awaken 180 weight loss program and how it's changed my life. Like a lot of folks, I let myself go a little. Not proud of that, but it happens. And I wasn't sure what to do. I've tried a lot of other weight loss programs, but they just didn't work. Not like Awaken 180. Can you believe I've lost 70 pounds in less than 4 months? With Awaken 180, there's no medication, no shots, and no side effects. And best of all, really fast results. You eat the food that's provided, and it's really good food. You work with a coach on a regular basis who guides you through the whole process. I'm never hungry. In fact, I never feel like I'm sacrificing anything. Just living a totally normal life. That's my new normal. And now, in October, they're offering free consultations. So there's no reason not to call them and learn more. Call them at 844-346-1800, or you can visit awaken180.com. It really has changed my life, and I bet it'll change yours too. That's Awaken 180.
This football season, Hurricane Grill and Wings is your game day getaway. Catch every play with the perfect drink in hand. Handcrafted cocktails like the Millionaire Margarita, Spicy Guavarita, Old Fashioned, or the Red Bullerita. Beer more your style to watch the games? Enjoy an ice cold Bud Light. Game day cocktails and Bud Light specials are here all season long at Hurricane Grill and Wings. Find a restaurant near you at hurricanewings.com.
1010XL, presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still, present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch.
Now time for Sports in Courts, legal issues in the sports world with Brett Hastings from the Hastings Injury Law Firm. Hit back.
with Hastings.
All right, our buddy Brett Hastings is here as we get closer and closer to this crazy football season. And we have a great topic today. You've done a really good job because Brett plans our sports and court segments. But the portal, coaches getting fired, what do the coaching contracts look like? Is there offset language? Those are really good topics. I want to kind of delve into all of it today. Right. I want to get into all of it. I want to get to the coaching contracts. So that's what kind of interests me the most. But while we have you here, take us through the legalities, the rules of the portal, how it's changing, how the world will change in the portal world.
So, and let's start with just the initial portal. Like, these are big changes, right? But, initially you had like 2 windows, right? They got rid of all of that. Now there's a single window that's going to be January 2nd to January the 18th, okay? And so the whole spring game, watch the spring game, guys move around, that's going away. So spring window's out. Now the big change and what really kind of matters to Florida fans and Florida State
Anybody
fans,
getting a new coach.
Exactly. Is that there used to be, it was all the way up, it was a 30-day window, right? And that 30-day window opened when the coach got fired. Now they've changed it, so there's a 15-day window beginning 5 calendar days after the new head coach is hired, right? You can't go in the portal. He's got 5 days to go talk to him and say, look, things are going to be different. Here's how we're going to do it. Negotiate, some change in the NIL deal. Get the collective guys over there. So that's a radically different change. And so the first thing is good because, I heard you as I was pulling into the parking lot and saying that, hey, what the ADs want is we don't want everybody moving around players.
That's the biggest concern they have.
Right. And so I think it's good to go through spring. Guys pretty much are going to be there, and so that's going to help out. I mean, you don't have that many multiple free agent windows in pro football, and ultimately people can rely on those, and then they know when that time comes open. I still think probably they should move off some of these days because this really, for the overwhelming majority, creates, some stability. But if you go all the way to the national title, right, even though they build in some things in these rules, how could you be that prepared, unless I guess you've really built an elite scouting organization because the coaches are going to be primed to prepare to win a national title.
One thing that I'm curious about is your opinion on the future of these contracts, because no agent wants to be the one that signs a deal for significantly less in terms of the buyout and the contract.
You're talking about
general.
coaches' contracts.
Coaches' contracts.
Right.
But in terms of with the revenue sharing now in place, and the universities all struggling because of that, there probably at some point will be pushback to these massive buyouts and even the size of the contracts.
Right.
But if you're representing a Lane Kiffin or a Drinkwitz or a Signetti, you can't possibly take lesser money than what the former guy was making, or you're going to lose all your clients. So how do you think it's going to manifest itself? Do you think the schools will just, the current climate will have to continue unless these schools are willing to really go to plan G and F to hire their head coaches?
I think it's ultimately going to change, right? We love, I heard Frank talking to this awesome young scholar athlete at Florida, and it's idealistic there, right? Well, out in the business world, it's realistic, right? And so I always say success is you got to mix some idealism with realism, right? When we just hired a new lawyer, other lawyer that works for me, if they do X, they get paid Y. And if somebody's not willing to bet on themselves, we're not going to do it. And if you want to make more money, I'm going to show you the pathway to do it. If I were an AD, if I'm going to go out and hire Billy Napier, who hasn't really done anything yet, I'll say, you know what? When you win a national title, you'll get $20 million that year. And when you win 3 or 4 games, you're going to get X. And if you're under 500 after 4 years, there's not going to be a buyout for you, right? The reality is, you're still going to have to pay a ton of money to Kiffin. You're going to have to pay a ton of money to Signetti because they've gone to go do it. But I think these ADs, right, need to get serious about going and putting it really serious performance incentive types of things in place, right? I mean, would Florida pay $20 million if they knew they were winning a national championship? Yes. You know what? They'd high-five the coach that day. And if he went and won 3 games the next year, he's still going to make more money than 99.9% of the people here. But I don't understand why there isn't some incentive-based thing for up-and-comers, right? For somebody who has not done it.
All right, Brett, let me ask you this. And because we know what happens in the professional sports world, let me ask you in college. This is a legal question.
Right.
if every AD at the Power 4 schools had a meeting and they decided they were doing this, no more buyout language unless you do this, 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 could that be collusion? Could that be collusion if they don't all work for the same entity? Like the NFL is collusion. If 32 owners get together and agree not to sign Joe Blow, that's collusion. They're going to get sued. What about in the college realm? I mean, as a lawyer, would you have a case?
Yeah, there's the potential for that, but there's also, we live in a capitalistic society, right? And the average paralegal income is X, and the average sports talk radio host compensation is X. And there you can have an industry or something else where people say, hey, it's no longer economically viable to pay these people certain things.
So it can change.
It can absolutely change if we all get in a meeting room and say, hey, look, we really just want to pay them way less.
Yeah.
And if you promise not to pay somebody else, then we do it. But if people went in
That's
and really,
collusion, which you
that's
just described
collusion,
as
right?
collusion.
But if you could get to a point from a leadership perspective and say, hey, look, the marketplace is changing. We have X number of dollars to pay or to do whatever. But, what I was proposing before is always going to be all right because a performance-based thing is that, right? It's not everybody working together and to do it. If you have that deal and there's 20 coaches that deal with it and you have a potential for $20 million if you want it all, only one guy is going to go get it. And ultimately, I think that's what's fair, right? Especially, like I'm not a college football coach, but when we lose a trial, it's not good, right? Financially, we have a lot of risk. We have things out there. So I understand the when to get to where you want to be sort of financial mentality and everything else. And sports are unique in the same way that trying cases or being a lawyer is. But yeah, I have never understood, because look, Todd Golden will bet on Todd Golden every day of the week, and you could have gave him that incentive-laden thing, and he probably would have made more money this year. But that's the guy I want coaching my team. I mean, at the end of the day, Billy Napier hasn't been good, and he's going to make $26 million not being good.
Which is a good segue to my next question. How many of these contracts these days have offset language? What that means is you get paid unless you find another job, and then whatever the other job pays you is subtracted from what the first school or team would owe you. Does that still exist? We used to exist all the time. Is that still a thing?
It does exist, but what's really unique is a lot of these contracts end up being different, right?
Yeah, they're all different.
And if you'll see, at least what I've noticed, contracts in the Southeastern Conference tend to be closer. Obviously between Trace Armstrong and Jimmy Sexton, they tend to be trends, and you could look in their contracts and you'll see some of the trends that they would go and put out there. What I think's interesting is 10, 12 years ago, the offset language was going to be solely directed to, other coaching availabilities. Now you can make so much money being an analyst.
Yeah, good point.
I don't know, but what does Saban make for being on College Game Day?
Your point, Hayes, and you know this better than I would. Do the NFL contracts still have offset language usually?
I don't think so.
They used to.
Yeah.
Used to be if you got fired as the head coach of the Rams, okay, and you were making $10 million, and the Rams would then owe you for 2 years, so they'd owe you $20 million.
Right.
But then you got a 2-year contract for $4 million a year to be the defensive coordinator for the Jets. That 8 would come off the 20 they owed you, and they'd only owe you 12. That was a thing for a long time.
Yeah,
but not anymore.
I've never covered a fired Jaguars coach that anyone wanted, so it's hard to know. But I don't think it exists.
When you write business contracts, are they all different? I mean,
they're all different. They're different. Within different professions and all that type of stuff. I mean, a lot of times, you'll hear people that say, hey, give me a perfect contract. Well, the only perfect contract is one that the person who's signing the contract truly understands, right? You not just your lawyer, you need to understand, how does termination go? So many people, they look solely at price and, the terms. But hey, do you have a waiver of a jury trial? Could you go to arbitration? Could it be litigated in Florida and be under New York law? People don't worry about any of that, and it radically changes what the result is and how they could even enforce anything under the contract.
All right. The other question is cause. Tell me how cause really works in the real world, because wasn't it Hugh Freeze that when he got fired at Ole Miss because of the stuff with
It's
the
happened
phone.
a lot.
Yeah, but that one comes to mind.
Yeah, sure.
That they didn't have to pay him his buyout because he got fired with cause.
I think Tennessee's had a couple coaches maybe where that Pruitt and Jones.
Yeah.
Where they,
So is that's a real thing, right?
That's a real thing, but every time that you're going to go and terminate somebody for cause, that's a factual inquiry, right? Like it's not a automatic determination. So, I mean, my understanding is the Jaguars just went through their arbitration with Urban Meyer because they terminated him for cause. And so when you just say he's being terminated for cause, there'll be a factual dispute. Does that constitute cause? And so you have to go and flesh out the facts. So Trent Baalke left, but had to come back in and testify as it related to part of that arbitration or any of these other things. So, when you get to for cause, if somebody went and murdered somebody, well, that's not going to be something that probably ultimately gets, litigated. If it were an issue where you could see both sides of it, that's the type of thing that's going to go. Now, what's unique is a lot of these contractual issues, they don't go to a jury trial. They're not in open court. They're not downtown at the Duval County Courthouse. Most of these professional contracts have an arbitration provision. And so with arbitration, somebody decide it. It's very often it's not an actual judge. Sometimes it's former judges, but it's another lawyer. It's something that happens, on a schedule that's outside of the purview of everybody else. And literally today, in tons of locations around America, there are arbitration proceedings that are going on that were part of provisions and contracts, and then somebody's got to live with the result. Now, what's interesting is you can't appeal it.
You can't.
You can't appeal it. As a general rule. Yeah, you cannot appeal it. So, this week we had tried a verdict 2 years ago. We got a $2.5 million verdict in a personal injury case, and go in for Monday. Monday's crazy, and at like 9:45, found out that the appellate court upheld our verdict. So it was huge, and it was cool to be able to call the client and to let them know, that it had happened. But this car wreck in that case happened 5 years ago.
Wow.
Okay, they'd never offered more than $100,000. You went to go do it, but they wanted to appeal. We felt real good about it. We went to go win it. But, there could be a lot of things that happen, and that's that big deal. So are you signing a contract? You want to know whether you're Billy Napier or Joe Blow. Is there an arbitration provision? What law applies to that? Is it California law in Florida? That sounds really weird, right? But you could arbitrate something in Florida under California law. So you got to read the contracts yourself. You can't just say, hey, I got a great lawyer, so I got to have a good contract. You want a great lawyer to have a good contract, and then you need to know it too.
Out of spite, could Florida pay the Napier buyout in pennies?
I would suggest that they should. Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Find a bunch of rolls.
There's nothing stopping
not even
them.
in the rolls.
Not even the
I want wheelbarrows of pennies delivered on his front lawn.
Brett Hastings.
And he would take forever to count it. So long.
Well, that's the thing. He'd count every one, though.
He would count every penny.
Count every one.
It'd be like count, shift, count,
Brett Hastings from the Hastings Injury Law Firm. Brett, we appreciate it. Back in a moment. This is 1010 XL 92.5 FM.
It's the ride home with the Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
This is your escape. This is your next adventure. This is Mazda, and this is Mazda at the Avenues. Lauren Brooks here. Right now, purchase any new Mazda model, and Mazda at the Avenues will match your down payment or your payments for 1 full year. Plus, every new Mazda comes with 3 years, 36,000 miles of maintenance at no additional charge to you. This is luxury, and this is the start of something new. This is Mazda at the Avenues. For complete details, call 904-430-8047.
I'm Renee Harrell. At Harrell & Harrell, we understand when you've been in an accident, there's a lot to handle. You've lost pay, and now the medical bills are piling up. When there isn't much insurance, some attorneys will pay your bills, take their fee, leaving you with even less than them. Not at Harrell & Harrell. We'll work hard to reduce your medical bills, and we promise our fee will never be more than you take home. Call us today, 904-251-1111. Don't settle for less than you deserve. Offices, Jacksonville.
Frank Frangie here for Stanley Pools. If you're dreaming of putting in a pool this year, choosing the right company is the most important decision you'll make. I've trusted Stanley Pools to build my pool, renovate my pool, and maintain my pool. Stanley Pools has been the best in the business since 1988, and they're still family-owned. Call them today at 904-269-7277 or find them online at stanleypoolsfl.com. That's Stanley Pools, a family tradition of fine swimming pools.
What's happening, folks? It's your main man, E.T., of course. And whether you're biking through shaded forest trails, casting a line from Camp Chow Pier, or enjoying music by the St. Johns River, Clay County is full of ways to play. This month, experience off-road trails at the 2025 Crawling for the Fallen. Savor bold flavors and classic rides at Moose Haven's 15th annual Chili Cook-Off and Car Show, and celebrate the fall season at fall festivals all across the county. Find a full lineup at ExploreClay.com. Come on, somebody.
Poker players, the World Poker Tour is back at Best Bet Jacksonville, October 30th to November 18th, and the guarantees are massive. Event 1 brings a $200,000 guarantee. Event 6 has a $300,000 guarantee, and the main event has an enormous $1 million guarantee. With 14 tournaments, your chances of winning big have never been better. Want in on the action? WPT satellites are already playing out. Don't get left out. Head to bestbetjacks.com for details. That's bestbetjacks.com.
I'm here with Clayton Bromberg, the president of Underwoods. Clayton, I know you're the head diamond buyer at Underwoods, and you travel to the markets to buy diamonds. Why don't you just look at an emailed list and have them send you the diamond?
Frank, there are a couple of reasons we go straight to the source when we're selecting the diamonds we want to put the Underwood name on. First, as an expert diamond buyer, I have to see a diamond before I can really judge its beauty versus the price it's being offered at. Second, when we're at the source, we have huge selections to choose our diamonds from, so we don't have to compromise the Underwood quality standard. The result is we control what goes into our diamond stock instead of allowing a diamond dealer to send us what he wants us to have. The bottom line is we're able to offer our customers carefully selected, beautiful diamonds that we're proud to have carry the Underwood name.
Underwoods, serving excellence since 1928 in San Marco, Avondale, and the shops of Ponte Vedra.
Hey Jacksonville, it's Dan Hicken with a game changer. I've tested the field, and Checkmate Coatings is my new go-to for durable, jaw-dropping floor coatings. Better play, better results.
I'm Brendan with Checkmate Coatings. We coat it all: garages, pool decks, driveways, and patios. Be the envy of your neighbors.
Slam dunk your floors at checkmatecoatings.com. Checkmate Coatings, your floor's missing piece.
Checkmate Coatings, your floor's missing piece.
This is Greg Huntington, a.k.a. The Mangler. I'm on the winning team at Waste Management. WM is the largest sustainability company in North America. If your business needs sustainable environmental services for waste removal and recycling collection, then you can count on the industry leader of WM to deliver results. Your services will be completed in a timely, safe, and eco-friendly manner. Go to WM.com/Duval. That's WM.com/Duval and get signed up today. If anyone can talk trash, it's the Mangler.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch.
Back to a Coyle & Sons Wednesday. Since 1927, they've been around the block and probably fenced it, too.
Frank, Frangie, Hayes, Carline, JJ La Selva with you on a Wednesday. We sure appreciate our friends from Coyle & Sons. Gosh, they do so much work for us at the Bragan Baseball Complex, at the Fort Family Athletic Complex overall. They're talking to some of the local colleges about helping their fencing in their athletic fields. I can tell you that already. The word is out. Coyle & Sons, the best fence company in all of Jacksonville. And I think everybody knows it now. If you need fencing, residential, commercial, you need our friends at Coyle & Sons. Frangie, Carline, La Selva with you. We've got our picks at the bottom of the next hour, about an hour away from now. The State Farm College football report comes up at 5:15, so all that coming up in a bit. So we got a lot of stuff to do. We got headlines in a minute. Before we get to any of that, Liam Cohen made a comment today that they've got to scheme up more stuff for Travis Hunter. That was a big enough story that it made the front page of ESPN.com. That they have to scheme more plays where he is the primary receiver. I thought that was wonderfully transparent of Liam, which is kind of who he is. He's a very transparent guy. Do you expect more of that from more balls, more targets to Travis Hunter even early in the game?
I do, because I think they have figured out two things. One, Travis Hunter is being underutilized. And this is a guy that they believe is is going to change the nature of the NFL. And too often he really hasn't had that big of a role in the offensive game plan. So there's that. I think the other part to it as well is your number one receiver isn't playing like a number one receiver. Brian Thomas Jr. is inconsistent. He's unreliable. He shows on multiple occasions a lack of toughness that has hurt the team. And then he's had just other errors that any receiver could make. But when you compound it with the other things, it creates a situation where your number one receiver is really playing more like a number three receiver. So, yeah, you need to figure something out. I mean, De'Ami Brown hasn't really done anything to, stand out. I mean, he's been okay, but at this point, he's just sort of a guy. And so you got to find answers. You got to score points. And, Travis Hunter is the well they really haven't gone to yet offensively. And it's time because Brian Thomas Jr. is not doing his job for you right now.
I think with Travis Hunter, what we've seen, what excites you about that is when they have gotten him in space, boy, the plays are fun, man. When they get Travis Hunter in space, the way he makes the first guy miss, spinning one way, spinning the other way, stepping back a guy. I know every time I watch a play, and I'm thinking this is one of the things Liam's talking about today, is they see it too. They see these great moves after the one catch, and then there's not another ball there for a while. And I think if they said, what if these wow moments that Travis gives us, like one a game, what if it was 4 a game, right? What if it was 6 a game? I think that's what we're seeing. Look, this guy's a special athlete. I mean, there's no getting around that he is a special player. So if you continue to take this really special player and get him in space, and so, yeah, there's going to be some balls down the field. But if you can find a way to get him in the open field, even on those wide receiver screens, those checkdowns, man, it's magical. I mean, it is magical what he can do. That's what I'm excited about is seeing. I've said all along, and I believe this all along, that the best way he could impact the team is offense more than defense. I've always said, and I still believe that, Hayes. I still believe offense, you control the game more on offense. Now, we'll all be interested to see the way the whole defensive thing plays out with Tyson Campbell not here. Greg Newsome, a major part of the defense, didn't play very much last week. Again, got thrown into the fire and got beat deep on the one play, and then played a little bit after that, but not very much. But all of our expectations are he's going to be a big part of the defense. I don't think there's any debating that. So will it be Jordan Lewis and Greg Newsome in base? I would imagine. Will it be Jordan Lewis moves inside, Greg Newsome outside, and Monteric Brown on the other side? Or will it be Travis Hunter on the other side? And how much will it be Hunter? And does that affect the fact that they've come right out and said they want to target him more on offense? Here's what's funny. That was the storyline before the season, and it still is, isn't it? They're still, and I said this at the time, Hayes, they're still trying to figure out the best way to do that. It's new. It's not something anyone's done before. It's not like, well, let's do it the way the Broncos did it 2 years ago when they had a two-way player, where the way the Rams always used their two-way player, where nobody's done it. So you're really kind of setting. And by the way, there's not many guys who can do it. So it's not like you're not going to start a trend. People say, we start a trend. Well, yeah, if there's another Travis Hunter, you start a trend.
There is not.
There's not.
Not in this coming draft.
There's not one coming. Well, there's not one coming probably in the next handful of drafts. So the point is there's no blueprint for this.
Dallas Wilson decides he wants to start playing defense.
There's no blueprint for this. So I'll be very interested to see how they involve him more than just that one, because man, I'm telling you, he's a play-by-play guy. When I see the ball thrown to him and there's only one defender, I get excited, man. Because we got something coming, you know that. And anytime the ball's thrown toward him, I get this excitement and feeling. So we'll see whether or not they. And again, I applaud. Liam didn't hide from it. You know, he said, "Listen, we got. I'm not going to not say it, so the Rams won't know we're going to him. Of course they know he's the second pick of the draft. It's not a surprise.
And they're watching film of Brian Thomas Jr. as well.
Yeah. So I think they know it's not a surprise that you're going to start throwing the ball to Travis Hunter. If there's anything of a surprise, people are waiting for it to happen. So I think it's going to be a fun part of the game. I can't wait to watch it. I can't wait to watch him get more involved. Sunday's game is going to be a lot of fun. I'll be interested to see the way the whole Wembley thing plays out. I'll be interested to see how the fact that they're at Wembley that the Rams are not accustomed to it. The Rams are leaving an hour before kickoff. The Jaguars have left a week before kickoff. It'll be fun to watch the whole thing, so we'll see. We'll take a break. When we come back, Hayes has headlines. Stay with us.
The Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
This is The Swamp.
Keeps out to the fake, running right, blows in the end zone.
It's the other Bulldogs from Starkville.
Touchdown Gators!
Florida, Mississippi State. Saturday at 4 on Jacksonville's home of Florida Gators football. 1010 XL.
Frank Frangie here. When you need plumbing, septic, or air conditioning service, trust matters. That's why more homeowners in Jacksonville choose Duck Duck Rooter, the area's most trusted service company. They're licensed, insured, and the only master septic contractor in Northeast Florida. From small plumbing repairs to major renovations and full air conditioning service, they do it all. And with Duck Duck, it's done right. Call 904-862-6769 or visit duckduckrooter.com. Duck Duck Rooter. If the Jags trust Duck Duck Rooter, so can you.
When you step into a courtroom, you're stepping into a fight. Someone wins, someone loses. I'm attorney Brett Hastings, and at Hastings Injury Law, we've got the experience you want in your corner if you or a loved one suffer a personal injury or a wrongful death. We're here to fight for you. So if you get hit, hit back with Hastings Injury Law, offices Jacksonville. Find us on the web at 904hitback.com or call our 24-hour helpline, 904-HITBACK.
When it comes to my opinion, I love dropping the hammer. I'm Hayes Carlyon. Listen for Hammer Time with Hayes, weekdays on The Frangie Show.
Hammer Time with Hayes, driven by Kia on Atlantic. Check us out at KiaOnAtlantic.com.
E to the T here, and Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here it's bigger game days and bolder fight nights. I mean, where else can you find the scratch kitchen that comes through in the clutch every day, from lunch to late night? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar. Come on, somebody.
Big Chief Tire makes auto care more affordable with 6-month financing through the CFNA credit card. Frank Frangie here. Plus, get $50 off your first purchase when you sign up. Whether you need new tires, brake service, or general repairs, their expert technicians have you covered. With no interest for 6 months, now's the perfect time to take care of your vehicle. Visit WeKeepJacksRollin.com or call 904-932-0950 to apply today. Big Chief Tire keeps Jacks rolling.
It's E.T. here, and did you know that slow-speed accidents can still cause serious injuries? Ignoring minor pain today can mean big problems tomorrow. Don't wait. Call my guys at McGowan Spinal Rehabilitation Center, the auto accident experts.
Hi, this is Dave Barker. Want to grow your hair back?
IHRS, right here in Jacksonville, is the only hair transplant clinic in the country that offers multi-unit hair grafting, FUE neograft hair transplants, and the 45-minute effective PRP treatments.
Multi-unit hair grafting gave me more hair in one procedure and within my budget.
Thank you, IHRS. IHRS showed me what was causing my hair loss and helped stop it.
Schedule a free evaluation and find out how to grow your hair back and keep the hair you have. Call 904-777-IHRS. Take the first step to restoring your hair today. Visit hairforme.com.
Now my hair will grow for the rest of my life. Thanks, IHRS.
IHRS has been restoring hair for men and women for over 30 years.
Call now for a free in-person or virtual evaluation. 904-777-IHRS. That's 904-777-4477. Or visit hair4me.com.
Bring your marketing to the next level with 3D Digital, your local video production and digital marketing agency that specializes in ensuring your brand story is seen, heard, and remembered. Our award-winning team creates professional content that will be launched across multiple platforms to precisely target your audience. Call us at 904-712-4004 or visit 3ddigital.com to define, design, and deliver exceptional results for your business.
I'm Frank Frangie, and I just got back from the farm at Okefenokee. Man, it's incredible. Just an hour north of Jacksonville and Folkestone. I was so impressed. It's about connecting with nature, with food, with community. And now you can own your very own handcrafted cabin tucked into a 1,000-acre regenerative farm. Everything you need is there. You'll hardly need to go grocery shopping. Learn more about all of it at okefarm.com. That's OKEfarm.com, the farm at Okefenokee.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? Gather round.
It's Hayes' Headlines, presented by Harrell and Harrell. Don't settle for less than you deserve. Hear all about it. Here's Hayes Carline.
Welcome back to the Frangie Show. Frank Frangie is here, as is JJ LaSelva. I am Hayes Carline. Thank you to our friends at Harrell and Harrell. Give them a call at 251-1111. Frank, we're going to stay with the Jaguars-Rams game. Let's talk about another receiver in the game. Devontae Adams might step even more into the forefront with Puka Nakua's injury. He may not be available. Devontae Adams really hurt the Jaguars last year. What kind of a challenge do you think this will be for the Jaguars secondary in slowing down Adams?
Well, the Jaguars had a very interesting defense on him last year. It's called not covering him.
Yeah.
So I would think if you cover him, he's still very good. But I have found in all my years of watching football, receivers are better when they're not covered and not as good when they're covered. So I would not expect they didn't cover him. I mean, how many times did you look up last year and Devontae, I'm not making this up. Once or twice, Devontae Adams looked confused. Did you notice that?
Yeah.
He's like, where are you guys?
Am I a mirage?
Are you around here? So, look, he's a very good player. He's older, but he's a big, strong, physical receiver. Matthew Stafford's a very good quarterback. Of course, he's going to be a factor in the game. And the Jags have to figure out their back end. It's changed a lot, most recently with Tyson Campbell out and Greg Newsome in. So I think that's a big question, Hayes, in the game as we move forward.
You talked about Liam Cohen's interesting comments about Travis Hunter's increasing role in the offense potentially for Sunday's game. Liam also went into a couple other issues that I thought were interesting. Let's start with the Jaguar defense and staying with the covering Devontae Adams, because we know what a great quarterback Matthew Stafford has become. And Liam Cohen is very familiar with Matt Stafford. His advice to his defense: don't trust Stafford's eyes.
Yeah, don't trust those eyes now. Don't trust his eyes, but we've talked, it's his full command of the operation that ultimately we have to be great with our disguises. We have to be great with our spot drop coverages. We've got to try to affect the pocket, obviously, in a lot of ways, but he has such a great way of dissecting pre-snap and then operating post-snap. Like, he sees it pre-snap, he can then can things, fix the protections, get you in a better football play. But then, okay, post-snap, it's his ability to then see areas, see coverages, but also just see open spots on the field, not necessarily just looking at receivers. That's what makes Matthew so special. And so those details for us, the pre-snap, what does it look like, the discipline in our drops, the discipline in our ability to work our games in stunts and pressures, that's going to be huge this week.
Tells you how much he thinks of Matthew Stafford. And you're right. The first thing he said is he's great at looking you off. That's what the veteran quarterbacks do. Matt Stafford has become a really smart quarterback. He's right.
Yeah, without a doubt. Let's look at the Jaguars' offensive side of things as they get ready to play the Rams. Tough day for the offensive line in the loss to the Seahawks on Sunday. Liam Cohen talked about the offensive line bouncing back against L.A.
I talked to Anton, talked to some of those guys. They're very eager, I think, for the challenge to step up. You know, each week you face an opportunity in this league up front to see some of the best pass rushers, and whether it's individuals, whether it's a crew of them, whether it's scheme, we've seen some good stuff. And so we've protected at a high level in a lot of ways. Last week was a tough go. So they know, we all know, it takes truly not just those guys up front. We've got to help them and have a responsibility as coaches, but also, hey, stepping up to the plate and worrying about us. Let's go get better at our sets, the way that we slide in pass protection, the way that we protect our fundamentals, our techniques, and worry about those things and not so much the guys that we're playing against.
Yeah, the bottom line is the offensive line was very good for 5 games and not very good last week. There was really no in between in my mind, no gray area, Hayes. They've got to be better, and I bet they will be better.
Let's do a Jags flashback.
Oh,
because
I love flashbacks.
On this day 6 years ago, the Jaguars traded Jalen Ramsey to the LA Rams for 2 first-round picks. Those picks turned into Kayvon Chason and Travis Etienne. Ramsey would start 56 games for the Rams, intercepting 10 passes and helping the franchise win the 2021 Super Bowl. Ramsey turns 31 later this month. He's a 7-time Pro Bowler who is on his 4th team now. in Pittsburgh. Safe to say the Rams won that trade.
Yeah, they did win the trade, and they won a Super Bowl in part because of that trade. I will say this. He's not quite C.J. Gardner-Johnson, who alienates everybody. If CJ's at the mall right now, he just alienated somebody at Dillard's. But he alienates everybody he comes across. But Jalen's like that, too. Jalen Ramsey's too good of a player to be on 4 teams in his first 8 years in the league or whatever it is. So, but no, you're exactly right. I know today was the celebration of the date, but there you go.
Yeah, hard to believe 6 years ago. Let's get it to around the NFL. The Cowboys look like they will have star receiver CeeDee Lamb back for Sunday's game against Washington. Lamb hurt his ankle in week 3, one of the most electrifying playmakers in the NFL.
Why do I find myself thinking the Cowboys are just so underwhelming? I mean, I know they had a bunch of 12-win seasons of late.
They're fun on offense.
They are fun on offense.
But they're terrible on defense.
But just big picture. They're the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, they're the Yankees and Dodgers of football, and they just feel so irrelevant based on what you think they should be, at least to me.
Oh, without a doubt. They're 2-3-1, I believe, right now in Brian Schottenheimer's first year. Getting Lamb back will help, but George Pickens has been wonderful. But like JJ said, they cannot stop anybody. Let's get to Major League Baseball. The Dodgers continue their torrid starting pitching performances and taking a 2-0 lead over the Brewers in the NLCS with a 5-1 win Tuesday night. Yoshinobu Yamamoto pitched MLB's first postseason complete game in 8 years. The Dodgers starters have a 1.54 ERA this postseason. LA heads home with a commanding lead in Game 3. And this was interesting, only 3 of 28 teams have lost the first 2 games at home and won a best-of-7 series.
Yeah, they're the best team. I mean, they're holding the title. They're holding the trophy. The trophy's in their locker room, in their clubhouse, I should say. Yeah, they're the best team. And they're almost going to make it not as interesting because the Brewers had a magical year, and they're deserving of all the good stuff people said about them, but the Dodgers are just a dang good.
Yeah, and their one kryptonite is their bullpen, but if you have one starter go 8 innings and the other have a complete game, you don't really have to worry about that. They almost blew it in the first game because their bullpen had to pitch like 1 inning. But yeah, they were just dominant. Unfortunately, both these series look over. Looks like we won't really have interesting baseball until the World Series.
It does have that look to it. It really does.
Yeah, Toronto shares a similar fate with Milwaukee in the ALCS. The Blue Jays are down 2-0 and now play tonight at Seattle at 8. It doesn't sound like you guys think this one's going to get interesting.
Not with that stat you just gave out about the 3 teams. I think the last one was the 96 Yankees who did it against the Braves in the World Series. A very tough moment for young JJ back in the day.
No doubt about it. How do you guys think a Dodgers-Mariners World Series would play?
Well, I think this. JJ's right about this, and JJ's often said this, and this one time, one of the few times on this I'll agree with you. Baseball's in a good spot. I don't think there's anything that would. Baseball found the ratings game better, didn't they, JJ?
This year was great for them.
This year was great. Well, I think it's a culmination of the rules changes, the way it's televised.
And the Dodgers are real popular.
And the Dodgers are the Dodgers. I think it'll do very well.
Ohtani's a superstar.
Yeah. I would think it would do great too, because you also have the Mariners who've never been in it. Yeah. So it's a great
story.
And they have the
MVP,
potential MVP.
And they got Babe Ruth.
Right.
So
I mean, I know regionally you're obviously dealing with very West Coast, but I would think from a casual sports fan, it would have a lot of appeal.
Seattle's hot. Like, I would expect the Dodgers to beat them, but like Frank said yesterday, you never want to play the hot team.
Yeah, without a doubt. We will get you out on today's musical note. Today we celebrate the 25th anniversary of U2's Beautiful Day hitting #1 on the charts. One of my favorite U2 songs. This was the lead single and opening song off the band's 10th studio album, All That You Can't Leave Behind. U2 will celebrate their 50th year together in 2026. The band has sold 170 million albums, won 22 Grammys, and was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2005.
One of the greatest bands of all time, and frankly, maybe the greatest band ever that didn't begin in the rock era, that didn't begin in the 70s or before. You know that? If you take away the bands that started in the 60s and the 70s, might be the greatest band ever.
I didn't know they started in the 70s, but they didn't really come to prominence until the 80s.
Didn't emerge until the 80s.
But I thought that was interesting that they actually were founded in 76.
But but for a band that came to emergence in the 80s or later, they may be the greatest band of all time.
Hard to argue.
Great band. Back in a moment. Stay with us.
It's the ride home with the Frangie Show. From the Harrell and Harrell studio, don't settle for less than you deserve.
Now, the Florida Gator Report on 1010XL, brought to you by San Jose Collision.
The Florida Gators fell to the 4th-ranked Texas A&M Aggies on Saturday evening out in College Station as they dropped to 2-4 on the season. Freshman wide receiver Dallas Wilson found the end zone for the second straight week. The Gators now look ahead to homecoming this Saturday, welcoming Mississippi State to the Swamp at 4:15.
Hayes Carline is our special agent. He goes into the locker room to uncover insights about your favorite football team. His mission is to bring it back to you on 1010XL. Special Ops support by Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors.
Frank Frangie here. It's always truck season at Nimnick Chevrolet. Well, this month you can save up to 20% off a new Silverado or get financing rates as low as 0%. Unlike most dealerships, Nimnick Chevrolet has the largest inventory on the ground, ready for you to explore. With their extensive selection, you're sure to find your perfect truck at Nimnick. So shop online at nimnickchevy.com or visit the dealership at Park and Cassett. Who's got more new Chevrolets at the best prices? Nobody but Nimnick. Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
This is Jaguar Hall of Famer Tony Baselli telling you about Heritage of North Florida, Jacksonville's premier roofing and home remodeling company. With over 25 years of trusted experience, Heritage of North Florida has built a reputation for quality, reliability, and craftsmanship. Whether you need a new roof or updating your kitchen or bathroom, trust the pros at Heritage of North Florida to create the perfect place to call home. Mention Jaguars to get $1,500 off your next roof or kitchen remodel when you go to heritagenfl.com. Go Jags!
The Friday Night Lights are shining even brighter as 1010XL has partnered with Channel 4 to bring you Friday Night Lights, a live streaming show at 7 o'clock every Friday, presented by Farrah and Farrah on the social media channels of 1010XL and Channel 4.
Hey, this is Lauren Brooks. With over 1,700 5-star Google reviews, it was a no-brainer to have Closets by Design help us get organized at home. They create custom storage for every space, lifestyle, and budget. From closets to garages to laundry rooms and more. Closets by Design will transform clutter into seamless organization. Call today to schedule a free in-home consultation and get 40% off plus an extra 15% off with free installation, but only until October 31st. 18-month financing is available. Call 904-878-9393 or visit closetsbydesign.com.
Jimerson Burr is a full-service, Florida-based commercial law firm that has experience and capabilities to handle any legal issue a business is confronted with. Learn more about what they can do for you at jimersonfirm.com.
We're certainly facing interesting economic times. For me, it's comforting to know my money's in good hands with ITP Partners. Jacksonville guys taking care of my Jacksonville money. Experience? Yeah, that's Chris Bryan, Jeff Hartman, Reagan Wright, Dan Abel, Scott Regner, Janice Cobb, and Reed Wingate. They have the expertise and knowledge to take care of your money. For more info, go to itppartners.com. ITP Partners, they're my financial partners for life.
Non-compensated client testimonial may not be representative of all client experiences. No guarantee of future performance or success.
Home of the Jacksonville Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Hey, Hickett here. This episode is brought to you by Prize Picks. You and I make decisions every day. But on Prize Picks, being right can get you paid. Don't miss any of the excitement this football season on Prize Picks. Man, it's good to be right. Prize Picks is the best way to win cash on any of our football teams this football season. Think about it, man. Prize Picks is the only app that offers stacks, meaning you can pick the same player up to 3 times in the same lineup. Want to pick more on Josh Allen's pass yards, rush yards, and touchdowns? Now you can pick all of them in the same lineup only on Prize Picks. You know how to play it. Just pick more or less on at least 2 player stats. If you get your picks right, you cash in. Download the Prize Pick app today. Use code 1010XL to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That is code 1010XL, and you get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. It's Prize Picks, man. Have a lot of fun this football season. Prize Picks, it's good to be right.
I'm Amber Frangie. Can you believe I've lost 70 pounds in less than 4 months? With Awaken 180, there's no medication, no shots, and no side effects. Call them at 844-346-1800. That's Awaken 180.
Blue here for the Blue Crab House, located right off of San Jose. It's on Jewington Creek Road. They've been around since 1996. Indoor-outdoor dining. Also, takeout is available at the Blue Crab House. Open 4:30 to 9, Tuesday through Saturday. Sunday, noon until 9. Remember, Tuesday, $2 margaritas. Wednesday, $1 oyster night. How about the blue crabs? How about my personal favorite, the Canadian snow crabs? Whatever it is that you fancy, you get it right there. The Blue Crab House.
I'm Max Fink with your 1010XL Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update brought to you by JEA. The Miami Hurricanes are absolutely rolling this year as they head into Week 8 of the season, getting set to take on Louisville at home this Saturday at 7. As far as the other Florida team in the ACC, they're experiencing more of a struggle after a hot start to the season. The Florida State Seminoles, now with a 3-3 record, head out west to take on the Stanford Cardinal Saturday at 10:30. It's 75 degrees at 5 o'clock. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch. 10-10-10-10.
Take.
The 1010 Take is brought to you by Duck Duck Rooter, plumbing, septic, and air conditioning. When you're stuck, call the duckduckrooter.com. We've talked about a lot of the issues in college football. I want to expound on one now that we haven't talked about enough, but I told you earlier that the commissioners of college football, their biggest concern is these players changing teams as often as they do. I believe that's got to get under control. I think, and I don't know how you handle it legally, and I don't know that you could win a law case because you're denying whatever you're denying, but the NFL has found a way to have players have to stay on one team contractually. College football has to come up with some vehicle to where players, if they're receiving dollars and they are getting paid, are contractually locked to one team and can't just arbitrarily go to another team the next year. Now, maybe that's there and we don't know the details of the contract. But more than NIL, more than players getting paid, more than conference realignment where a team from Berkeley, California has got to go to Tallahassee, Florida to play a conference game, all those are concerns. But the biggest concern in college football is guys playing on different teams every year, and some of these guys are playing 4 or 5 different teams. That's got to get corrected, and Hayes, that's the 10-10 take.
Yeah, and hopefully it will. It's one of those things you'd like to get resolved without having to, enter into collective bargaining, because then you're dealing with, obviously, the players unionizing and things like that. So, we'll see, what the college administrators are able to put in place. One way you might be able to get around some of it is, at least for at the higher level schools, the ones where every player on the team is making something, write it into the contract that if you that you owe money if you leave, something to that effect. In terms of the NCAA coming out and saying, look, we're going to give you the one free one, but after that, you're going to have to sit out a year. I mean, yeah, they could try it and see, how long it'll hold up before it gets legally challenged. But yes, there needs to be something, more stabilization. I think it's going to be hard for them to get to that unless they're able to work it more into the revenue sharing component that now exists, where everybody is getting something. And then, maybe then the transfers would only be, several in an athlete's career if they're transferring from, like smaller conference schools to others, where maybe you're dealing with, am I getting paid? Am I not? What's the role? But certainly at the power level, you'd like to think those contracts could be written so that it will incentivize players to stay at their institution.
Yeah, something's got to be done, and I think that's look, and if you go to a school and you pick the wrong school, you don't like it, you pick the wrong coach, you're not going to play, okay, transfer. And I'm glad years ago we got rid of the rule where you have to sit out a year. That's dumb. If you want to go, you only get 4 years. It's your life. You shouldn't have to sit out a year. That was a dumb rule, and I'm glad we got rid of that. But something has to happen. Remember, once upon a time, there was a talk about you had one free transfer, and then after that, you had to sit out. Well, I liked it at the time, but that probably wasn't going to work either. But something's got to happen that if you transfer from Alabama to LSU and you get a contract to go there, There's a legal contract that says you have to stay 3 years or 2 years or can't go to another school. And I'll bet you we get that. Again, I don't know the legality. Maybe that's the question next time Brett's in here. But I'll bet you that gets done, Hayes. I'll bet you somehow they put a stop to guys. The guys on their fourth and fifth teams. We used to laugh about a guy on his third or fourth team. Now it's a regular occurrence. You look at some of these quarterbacks, the Virginia quarterback. You look at some of the DJ Uiagalelei, Nico. These guys are on their. It's happening all the time.
Jeff Sims just started for Arizona.
Jeff Sims, God bless him, good kid, a Sandalwood kid. But Jeff Sims has been at Georgia. Was it FSU, right? FSU, Georgia Tech, Nebraska, Arizona State, right?
He was committed to FSU. I don't think he ever actually enrolled there.
So Georgia Tech,
3 only, not 4.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I think at the quarterback position, it's going to always be tough just because of the nature of the position.
You can only play one, right?
But I think what they'd like to remove is, the non-quarterbacks moving. And look, going to one window, that's going to help. Now you don't have where it used to be. You could transfer in January, go through spring, didn't like what was going on in spring practice, transfer in April. So they've eliminated that. So that should help with some stabilization. And again, at the quarterback position, it doesn't bother me as much because you're only going to play one. But yeah, it's everything else where, if you could harness every other position where you are playing multiple guys, you're obviously a lot of positions rotate in and out. That would be very good for the sport.
Yeah. So I think something's got to happen. So we'll see. All right, let's keep our eye on college football and what's going on there. This is my last day on the air with you until after the football weekend. We'll do our picks at the bottom of the hour, and we'll talk to Shane Matthews, Tom Block, and Joe Zagacki afterwards. But I say what I've said all along. I think after the 5th loss, he's fired. I think Billy Napier is fired if they lose this weekend. If they win this weekend, I think he's fired after they lose to Georgia. Again, I'll say what I said yesterday. If they win both, then it gets complicated a little bit. But I still think he's fired after the next loss, no matter when it comes.
Without a doubt. And I think it's coming Saturday, and I think he's going to be out. But yeah, whenever the next loss comes, it's going to be curtains, as it should be, because now your best case is 7-5, and that just isn't good enough. And when you're the Florida coach in your 4th year, particularly when your first 3 years were very disappointing years as well.
Well, because here's the thing: if you lose this weekend, your best case is 7-5, but you're not going 7-5. That's the thing. If you really thought they were probably going 7-5, then you probably wouldn't pull the trigger now. But if you get to 2-5, yes, technically, mathematically, your best case is 7-5. You're not going to be 7-5. Realistically, if you lost this weekend and didn't fire Billy Napier, realistically, you might beat Kentucky. You might beat Florida State. Any other wins would be to me would be a big surprise. You agree with that? If you lose this weekend, any other win would be a big surprise. If you got beyond 4, 4-8, I would be shocked.
Yeah,
and I feel that way, by the way, whether you fire him or not.
Correct. Yeah. So I think the die is cast. I think and I'm sure at this point Napier even is somewhat cognizant.
Doesn't he have to be?
Yeah, he's one loss away from losing his job.
Yeah. Even the biggest believers of believers, he's got to figure out now. By now, he's had to have told his wife and kids and family, listen, this is probably it. Now, every coach that's ever been fired in the history of football doesn't think he should have been fired. Okay, so I've known so many coaches. No one's ever said, I did a lousy job. They should have fired me. No one's ever said that. There's always been extraneous circumstances that are the key to why I got fired.
He did have an answer yesterday. We played it early on in prime time that it did show that Mark Long basically asked him, like, hey, there's all these other coaches out here getting fired pretty early in the season. Like, hint, is that new? Do you expect something? And he had a pretty real answer that was like, hey, listen, we get paid a lot of money to do this, and, it's not going to be the end of the world if I get fired, basically.
Yeah, he said we signed up.
It was a pretty real answer.
Yeah, he said, but he has to know.
Yes.
He's not going to be surprised.
He can't be surprised. Even the most head-in-the-sand people know the obvious of the obvious, right? Has to.
The second that kick went in against USF, man, he had to have known.
And that's really, he lost his job that day.
Yes.
That's the day he lost his job. That was the day. And you can't, no matter how good USF is, look like they are, you can't lose a home game to USF, and you damn sure can't do it in your fourth year when there's expectations. So, all right, we'll talk more Gator football, more Seminole football, more Miami football after this. The State Farm College Football Report. Stay tuned.
The Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
He's our big hitter.
I'm Jaguars Today's middle linebacker, Tom McManus.
He tackles Jags talk from a middle linebacker's point of view. Fridays on 1010XL. Protected by Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Frangie here. Looking for a dealership that makes car buying easy? Let me tell you why Nimnick Buick GMC is the place to shop. At Nimnick, you'll find unbeatable prices, a huge selection of Buicks and GMCs, plus flexible financing that works around your budget. Whether it's a new SUV, a work-ready truck, or a certified pre-owned, they've got you covered. They back it up with trusted service and transparent deals. Don't wait. Shop 24/7 online at NimnickBuickGMC.com or visit the showroom on Phillips Highway. GMC, we are professional grade.
This is Hayes Carlion for Harold and Harold. I was at lunch with my good friend Holt, and he was telling me that sometimes a lawyer can get more from a case than their own client. I was surprised to hear this, but Holt said that doesn't happen with Harold and Harold. They'll never take a fee that is greater than their own client. When they say they treat their clients as a person and not a file, they mean it. Hopefully you won't need them, but if you're ever injured, call Harold and Harold at 904-251-1111. That's 904-251-1111.
You already know it's your main man E to the T here for Twin Peaks, home of the 29-degree draft. And with ball season here, make sure you're on the lookout for my instant reaction before, during, or after the game. All brought to you by Twin Peaks, home of the 29-degree drafts. Come on, somebody.
Welcome to the bundle event. Entering now our undisputed tag team champions, the mid-size SUV and the mid-century modern. Together with a State Farm agent, this auto and home duo are a powerful force of savings, service, and customizable coverage. Now, let's get ready to bundle.
Call State Farm agent Jason Judy in Jacksonville at 904-416-1732.
Availability and amount of discounts and savings vary by state.
Frangie here. Bono's Pit Barbecue has been serving up legendary barbecue on the First Coast for over 75 years. And this month only, Bono's has loaded barbecue tater tots. That smoked pulled pork on top of tater tots with melted cheddar cheese sauce. You won't find this anywhere else. And with 18 Bonos around town, there's always one nearby. You can see all the locations at bonosbarbecue.com. Remember, the loaded barbecue tater tots are served for a limited time only, so don't miss out. If you don't see a pit, it ain't legit.
What's happening, folks? It's your main man, E.T., of course. And whether you're biking through shaded forest trails, casting a line from Camp Chow Pier, or enjoying music by the St. Johns River, Clay County is full of ways to play. This month, experience off-road trails at the 2025 Crawling for the Fallen. Savor bold flavors and classic rides at Moose Haven's 15th annual Chili Cook-Off and Car Show, and celebrate the fall season at fall festivals all across the county. Find a full lineup at ExploreClay.com. Come on, somebody.
Hey, it's Lauren Brooks. Looking and feeling great isn't just for women. Hello Smooth Med Spa has something for everyone. Laser hair removal, wrinkle smoothing, skincare, and more. With over 400 plus 5-star reviews and over a decade in business, they know their stuff. Book now at hellosmooth.com.
Tired of roofers who never answer the phone and just use AI?
I'm Morgan Conley, the People's Roofer. I answer every call. No robots, no runaway. I'm born here, built here, staying here. Visit MorganConleyRoofing.org.
Now, the Performance Painting High Performance Play of the Game. Performance Painting. Prepare, protect, preserve.
Jacksonville wanted to make a statement early in the contest, and their star wide receiver would do so in fantastic fashion. In the first quarter, Trevor Lawrence would find Brian Thomas Jr. for a 21-yard touchdown score. That would give the good guys a 6-0 lead with 1:14 left in the opening period. The Thomas score is your Performance Painting Play of the Game.
Hi folks, Jason Parker here with Performance Painting. Ever wonder what to do with leftover paint that you don't want? Here's a few options. Paint can be placed in the regular trash if it's dry. Simply stir in kitty litter to a thick consistency. Then wait a few days with the lid off till it dries. Also, if the paint is good, there's many charities or churches that would love to have it. If you'd like more tips or have a project, we'd love to help. Go to performance-painting.com. Performance Painting. Repair, protect, preserve.
Frank Frank Frangie here to tell you about the coolest new thing, a putting green in my backyard that my friends at Sunshine Turf installed. Sunshine Turf can do the same for you. They'll come to your house, they'll create a custom design for your space, and you'll have an authentic golf course experience right in your own backyard. I freaking love it. Sunshine Turf is family owned and they made the process so simple. So visit sunshineturf.info or call them at 904-383-0243 and get a free quote today for your own putting green. Get it from Sunshine Turf.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch.
Time now for the State Farm College Football Report with Shane Matthews on the Gators, Tom Block on the Noles, and Joe Zagacki on the Canes. Presented by your local State Farm agent.
All right, let's talk a little Gator football. We'll start with Shane Matthews from the Gator Radio Network. His report brought to you by State Farm agents Mike Nichols, Ron McCann, Mike Tozzel, Kathy Scott, and Jason Judy. All right, Shane, I'm not going to bury the lead here. We could talk all we want about the game last week. Game looked like a lot of the other games. Is Billy Napier, in your opinion, coaching his last game if they lose on Saturday?
I would say probably yes if they lost. If they win, he'll probably last a little bit longer. But I think it's, I don't know when it's going to end, but it's going to end at some point.
Shane, what did you think went wrong for the Gators after that first quarter Saturday night in College Station?
Well, the first quarter, we picked on one corner. I can't remember if his name was Hicks or Ricks, but they played us one high press coverage man-to-man, and we basically just threw the ball outside one-on-ones and won those matchups. And then after the first quarter or the first couple of drives, they started playing. They mixed in a little bit of man, played different types of man, but mostly zone, forcing us to read stuff, and we have trouble doing that.
Shane, what's the mindset? And again, we've seen a lot of Florida teams now when the coach was fired. I've seen a few Jaguar teams that way too. What's the mindset of this team? They've got to know what's coming here. They don't seem to be falling apart emotionally at all yet. Where is this team in your opinion?
Hard to say, Frank. I mean, obviously they have some experience because they went through it last year.
Yeah.
I've never had to experience this. It's unique. I will say this: college football to me is like the NFL now. It doesn't matter if you're 1-10 in the NFL. You're playing for everybody else in America, right? I mean, all the other 32 teams. Put your product on tape, and I think that's what players have to do in college football now, as much as they're being paid and as much as the portal is. Because if you do have a new coach, there's no guarantee that the coach wants any of the players on this roster. He may want to bring in his own guys. So it's a unique situation. It's terrible that we've had to go through this the last couple of years. I think we'll go out and play hard. I don't know if we'll win, but Mississippi State's a much improved team.
Let me ask you a real quick follow-up. You did sort of go through it because I was there in Baton Rouge in '89, and you were on that team. And when Krzyzewski made the kick to win the game, Galen Hall looked like the most relieved guy in the world. Like he told me, Frank, you can't imagine how big this win is. I'm thinking, well, just a win over LSU. You know what I mean, Shane? He just said, it's just a win over LSU. Why was he so emotional? Well, he knew he was getting fired the next day. Was that weird? You weren't playing yet, but was that a weird thing? Do you remember back what it was like then?
Honestly, Frank, I don't really remember because, I was so buried so deep in the depth chart.
Yeah.
Hell, I never traveled. I never did anything.
Right.
If the portal was there, I probably would have transferred.
Right, yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I get it.
Luckily, I didn't.
but it was a weird. I was telling, hey, it was a weird situation then, and it always is.
What stands out about Mississippi State?
I like Jeff Levy a lot. When we played them last year, it was one of the worst SEC teams I saw in person. But they got better as the year progressed last year. They've added a ton of players through the portal, especially on the lines of scrimmage. Their offense is that Tennessee, Lane Kiffin, all those type of offenses. They're going to go fast. They can cause some problems, and they take a lot of deep shots. So it'll be a huge challenge for our defense. But they're terrible against the run, so I think you'll see a heavy dose of Jaden Ball.
That was my final question. What does Florida do now? Do they do just what they do? Do they throw it more? Do they run it more? Well, you might have just answered it. You think this is a game you run the football?
I do. They're very poor against the run. Now, that doesn't mean we're going to execute. We still got to go out and play. But I think offensively you're going to see what you've seen the last 4 years.
Shane Matthews from the Gator Radio Network. Thank you, Shane.
Take care, guys.
Let's head to Tallahassee, where Tom Block checks in from the Seminole Radio Network. This report brought to you by State Farm agents Craig Dewhurst, Ramey Ellaboo, Margie Williams, Scott Hobson, Brandon Thomas, and Randy Taylor. Tom, kind of the same question we were just asking Shane. Tough times in Tallahassee. What's the mindset of the team? Is it a devastated team? Is it a circle the wagons moment? Where's the team right now after another ACC loss?
Yeah, maybe more the latter than the former, but you could make the argument the former applies too. I felt all along that, and I've said this on your show, that this is a different team, different players, different mentality than last year. I don't think this is a case where they're not playing hard or they're not bought in. I do think they're frustrated, disappointed. I think they hear all the, save for maybe a couple who are smart enough to be on social media, they hear everything that everybody's talking about. So, yeah, they need to get a win, obviously, and Shane and I maybe need to get a beer together.
Exactly right.
Yeah. Tom, Stanford 2-4. The kickoff time, I think, is really interesting for this game. It's a 10:30 Eastern kick. How is Mike Norvell handling the travel out there? What's the travel plan? And do you think the late kickoff is any kind of a concern?
So the travel plan, they're keeping things as normal. I know they did a lot of diligence on what some other teams have done, and so they're not going out early. They're going out Friday. But given the late start on Saturday, they still have all day Saturday to sit around the hotel. And I think that was the thought on not going out Thursday. It's just one more day just to, worry about killing time in a hotel, around meetings and whatnot. And you still aren't going to be acclimated to the time change. Mike Norvell's not going to talk about it. I don't imagine he's thrilled with kicking off at 10:30 Eastern. But candidly, Florida State's been asked to play all kinds of time windows since they've been in the ACC. The Monday night Labor Day, the Thursday night games, the Friday night games. And I guess if there's any solace for that at all, it's that the reason they're asked to play in those windows is because they're a TV draw. And now, after where the ACC landed in the lawsuit and all that, Florida State is going to get more compensation than a lot of the schools in the league because of their television ratings. Now, that's not, immediate on Mike Norvell's brain. There's no way to get around it. You're going to be playing the fourth quarter, and it's 1:45 in the morning Eastern. So what does that translate to? Hopefully Florida State's taking care of business early on against a bad Stanford team. But who knows? So I guess I'm saying I think it's a factor, but I don't think it's something that Mike Norvell's going to, bring out or talk about.
Tom, any changes? Castellanos is your quarterback, and he's played pretty well. Is there a personnel change? Do you do anything different? Does Mike Norvell get the impression he's going to do anything different, or just kind of carry on here?
Well, defensively, I think they have made a few changes here and there. Some different guys will get more reps up front and at the linebacker position. Offensively, it's just a question of the health of these guys. And to be fair, and this is sort of like the comment about the time zone change. You can suggest this in an excuse or it's a reason. But last week they did go into the game offensively, and they were missing 5 starters that started against Alabama, and then Deuce Robinson went down and didn't play the second half. So they were without 6 starters, and they were, basically 3 receivers, a starting tight end, a starting tackle, and a starting running back. So that matters. Now I think they'll have some of those guys back. And so offensively, anybody that's not out there, it's because of injury, whereas defensively, they are making a few personnel changes there to try and improve.
All right, FSU and Stanford coming up late at night on Saturday. Thank you, Tom.
All right, get some caffeine for that one, boys.
We will for sure. Let's head to Coral Gables. Say hello to Joe Zagacki, the voice of the Canes. His report is brought to you by State Farm agents Carissa McCullum and Gene Coleman. Joe, you guys done having off dates now? I mean, you've probably spent more time in Los Olas in the last 2 or 3 weeks than you have Coral Gables, haven't you?
Oh, I'm telling you, it's stop and start. Let's go. Let's play.
Yeah,
it's kind of ridiculous.
Miami's got a really good team. Is this the toughest game left? I know it's a home game, but Jeff Brom's a really good coach, and I'm not trying to look ahead, but is this the toughest one left? This should be a pretty good game, I would think.
Yeah, I think Louisville, first of all, I start with Brom. He's an excellent coach, great play caller, excellent play designer. Has won a lot of football games. The thing about Brom is you're going to find out where your team is weak because he's going to go after it early in the game, and then you're going to have to make an adjustment to it. I think it's their toughest game. Miami goes on the road to SMU, but I think Louisville's a better team than SMU, although SMU just keeps on winning. This Louisville team, defensively, Frank, it's actually surprising. Their numbers are better on defense than they are on offense. Number one rated team defensively in the ACC, holding their opponents to 262 yards a game. Some of that might be skewed by some early season easy wins, but I think they're really good on defense. I don't think they're quite as explosive on offense. I don't think their offensive line is that great, and that's what Miami has to exploit.
What stands out about the Louisville defense?
I think it's their defensive line. They're pretty deep there. They got this kid, Clev Lubin, who's a transfer, comes into this game with 4 sacks. On the other side, Wes Bailey, a transfer from Rutgers, 19 tackles, 2 sacks. I think they're pretty good up front. I think they do a good job of getting teams in the third down, and then they're able to give a lot of different multiple fronts and pressure the quarterback. And then their linebackers are really experienced, led by T.J. Quinn, who's going to make his 33rd start.
It looks like to me, Joe, this is a Miami team that's pretty good at not reading their headlines. I mean, they're one of the best 2 or 3 teams in the country, yet they kind of show up every time. Is that Carson Beck being mature? Is that Mario having gone through some of this? What's your read on that?
I think that's a good observation, Frank. I think it's all the above. I think Mario is trying to do everything he can to keep his team together, keep his team united. Every team Miami plays, by the way, it's like the old Bobby Bowden. Every team they play is the best team on the schedule at this point. The best offense, the best defense. So I think he gets their attention that way. But they also have some really good leadership with veteran players like Carson Beck on offense. Guys have something to prove on defense like Bain. Mo Toure, 6th year in college football, his 38th game. Bain has played great. By the way, how about this stat for Carson Beck? I hope I don't jinx him. Broadcasters jinx. 22-0 in his home stadium between Georgia and Miami.
How about that? Never lost a home game. I didn't realize that.
Never lost a home game.
Wow, that's a great stat. Miami really has it going. Boy, Bain's a good player. My goodness. Miami really has it going. A fun Friday night home game against Louisville. Joe Zagacki, the terrific play-by-play voice of the Kings. Thank you, Joe.
All right, guys, thank you.
All right, that is the State Farm College Football Report. Shane Matthews talking Gators, Tom Block talking Knowles, Joe Zagacki checking in on the game. You ready for picks?
Let's do it.
You ready?
I mean, I haven't been ready all year. Maybe this week
maybe
I
this
will
time
be.
you'll be ready.
Yeah, maybe this time it'll work.
Our picks are coming up early. We're doing them early because I'm gone the next 2 days. Our picks are next. Stay with us.
The Frangie Show from the Harrell and Harrell studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Pack your passport. Duval Pride takes a ride for a transatlantic showdown as West Coast meets First Coast for some American football at iconic Wembley Stadium. It's tea time for touchdowns with crumpets and football for breakfast.
Jacksonville Jaguars, Los Angeles Rams.
Cheerio. Sunday morning at 9:30 on 1010XL.
The best place to get trucks is Nimnick Chevrolet. But did you know Nimnick Chevrolet is way more than just trucks? While most dealerships are running low, Nimnick has the largest inventory of new Chevy SUVs in town right on their lot. With low promotional rates, now is the time to save big on the most popular Chevy SUVs like the all-new redesigned Equinox. Plus, with cash incentives and Nimnick savings, you'll save thousands only at Nimnick. If you're looking for better fuel economy or just need a little more room for your growing family, Nimnick Chevrolet's wide range of models ready to drive means you'll find exactly what you're looking for at Nimnick. So head to Nimnick today. Of course, it's the best place for trucks. When you go to Nimnick, it's way more than trucks. It's great SUVs as well. So hit the Nimnick today. Where's the best place to get cars, trucks, and SUVs? Nobody but Nimnick.
This is Josh Woolsey with Woolsey Morecambe. When deciding what lawyer to trust with your car accident or injury case, the most reliable way is reviews and results. You want to be treated well, and you want a great result. Woolsey Morecambe's reviews speak for themselves, and I challenge any firm to compare results. We offer the resources of a large law firm and the customer service of a boutique practice. If you want to be treated right and want great results, call Woolsey Morecambe at 1-800-WOOLSEY and take the fear out of the fight. Offices, Jacksonville.
PRP treatment is kind of the thing these days, and in many cases, it eliminates the need for surgery. This is Sheridan Tootin, and my experience with PRP from Southeast Orthopedic Specialist has been nothing short of great. I'm really feeling much better now. Ask your Southeast Orthopedic Specialist doctor about PRP treatment.
This is Dr. Kevin Murphy with Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, where athletes are treated like pros.
Relieve pain and get back to life.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Landscapers, St. Augustine grass homeowners, listen up. Tired of dealing with the brown and thinning lawn? TopDressing.com is now in Jax. Give them a call. Let them be your St. Augustine solution. Quick, professional, white glove service for your lawn. Listen, they treated my lawn and I couldn't be happier. Green, lush, smooth grass, just like I wanted. They're the best in the business. There's no better time than now. If you're ready for a change, give them a call, 888-850-1850, and top dress your lawn like the pros with TopDressing.com.
With Lee and Kate's Grass, you're gonna see a big difference.
Hey folks, it's Frangie for Lee and Kate's Glass. They say you're going to see a big difference, but what does that really mean? It means a live local person on the phone, a smooth, easy process, skilled craftsmen, and excellent customer service all around, with your satisfaction absolutely guaranteed. Visit LeeandKatesGlass.com.
With Lee and Kate's Glass, you're gonna see a big difference.
XL Primetime is back weekdays noon to 2, and on Wednesdays, join Dr. George Bari at 1:20 for the latest in sports injuries from all the big names in the game. Make sure you catch Dr. George Bari on XL Primetime Wednesdays at 1:20 on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Lauren Brooks here for Terminix. When pests invade your home or business, you don't just need them out, you need them out fast. And you need to keep them out. At Terminix, they'll show up for you and eliminate pests quicker, just like they did at my house, because they care about what matters most to you. When pests show up, so does Terminix. Don't live with a pest problem, Terminix it. Visit Terminix.com today to schedule a free inspection online. That's TERMINIX.com. That's right, Terminix it.
I'm with Brett from Cycles of Jacksonville, and the fall part of the year just offers so much fun, especially when you're out and about. Tell everybody what's happening with Triumph right now.
They have got a lot of new models on the road, from Scrambler 400s. They've got the legendary Rocket motorcycle. Lots of really cool bikes to choose from.
And the price point and all the tricks that come with the Triumph bike, they're all there.
They're all there. Entry level to the greatest of the great. We've got them.
Look for them online, cyclesofjacksonville.com. Check out their Facebook page or that showroom on Atlantic near Regency.
1010XL, presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah. Now, the cool down from the cool guys at Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing. Fast, reliable, and honest service since '87.
All right, over the course of the program today, we've talked a lot about the Jaguars. Travis Hunter, Liam Cohen said they're going to try and target him more. He's the number one receiver, the number one option on the plays. We'll see how that plays out. We're looking forward to watching the Rams at Wembley against the Jags. I'm looking forward to that. I'll be gone tomorrow and Friday on my way to London, so I'm looking forward to that. We talked about that. We talked some college football. Is this the last game for Billy Napier? If they lose, I think that it is. And we certainly heard from the college football report fellows, Matthews, Block, and Zagacki. And before that, Brett Hastings was here. That is Sports and Courts. Now, fire it up.
Time for the Frangie Show Picks of the Week, brought to you by Ricketts Electric, Jacksonville's Power Connection. The Ricketts Picks start now.
And Ricketts Picks are brought to you by Ricketts Electric, the best in the business. Call 904-320-5960. If you want an electrician you can trust, you want Zach Ricketts and his terrific people. Man, they've done a lot of work for us. Ricketts Electric. Here we go. La Selva and Carline. The standings look kind of like this. J.J. La Selva just running and hiding. He's got the backups in the game. He's got the walk-ons in.
It's Carson Beck and J.J. La Selva, the two MVPs of the football season.
He's got a walk-on. He's got like number 32 playing quarterback. So J.J. is 35 and 21, 44 total points. I'm 30 and 26, 35 total points. Hayes is 24 and 32, 32 total points. Game picker-uppers, Hayes and JJ both have 5. I've got 2. Now I'm terrible at that. Moneyball, JJ's 4 and 2. Hayes and I are both 3 and 3. Here we go. Hayes, you're first. USC at Notre Dame. Who do you like?
I'm going to take USC here. Just gut feeling. I think they're running the ball better, and I'll say they go in and get a tough rivalry win on the road.
I'm going with Notre Dame, the Fighting Irish. Cheer, cheer for old Notre Dame. Wake up the echoes cheering her name. JJ, I'll take the Irish. Who do you like?
Yeah, I like the Irish here too, but I'll say this about USC. They have a wide receiver, this Malachi Lemon or something Lemon. The kid's a freak. He's a true freshman. He's going to be a superstar. I think it'll be high scoring, but I like Notre Dame.
LSU at Vandy. I'm not afraid to tell you. I'm taking Vandy at home. You're like, no duff, right? They're the favorite. Yeah, but they're not the favorite in anybody's mind, but I'll take them nonetheless. JJ.
Yeah, I like LSU. This is basically I'm picking the logo in this game. Going with the Tigers.
And Hayes Carline.
I'm picking the logo as well. So you've got a game picker-upper on the favorite at home. That's nicely done. But I can't pick Vandy over.
And I get it.
I just can't do it.
And you know what?
I hope Vandy wins, but
I'm almost disappointed in myself for doing it. But I'm going to pick
I hope Vandy wins because it'll just make the coaching carousel look that much crazier.
Oh, yeah.
JJ, Tennessee's at Alabama, third Saturday in October.
I have been thinking about picking Tennessee for the last couple days, but just being at home I think is going to be enough. I'm going to go with the Tide.
Hayes Carline is from the Bowl School.
I'm going to take Tennessee here. I like their offense. I think Alabama's due for a bad game. I'm still not convinced that they're all of a sudden elite. So I'll take the Vols here in an upset.
JJ, you may really run and hide on us because I'm taking Tennessee too. I just think Tennessee's going to win.
I don't hate the pick. Yeah. I think Aguilar is going to rip that defense apart. I think it'll be close.
I think Tennessee's really good. And Hayes, back to you. Ole Miss at Georgia.
I'm going to take Lane Kiffin here.
He's taking
I think
Kiff.
that Georgia has been they've gotten some nice breaks. But they've looked a little vulnerable to me. So I think Ole Miss with that hot offense, I think they go into Athens and get the win.
I'll take Georgia at home. JJ.
Yeah, I was going to take Ole Miss until Wazoo went in and made them look silly the other day. I'm going with Georgia.
All right, let's get to some NFL games. NFL music, please. The Colts are at the Chargers. Boy, the Colts are playing well, but it's got to stop at some point.
Good game.
I'm taking the very good game. I'm taking the Chargers at home. JJ?
Yeah, I agree. Chargers at home. They're underdogs, by the way, but I'm taking the Chargers.
Home underdog. Hayes Carline, game picker-upper?
I'm going to take Jonathan Taylor and Indiana Jones and Shane Steichen and the Colts to stay hot.
I love Indiana Jones. I love it very much. Well done. JJ, you're up first. Texans at Seahawks.
I think I've not been impressed with the Texans whatsoever this year. I'm going with Seattle.
Hayes Carline.
I'm going to take the Texans here. I think their defense can bother Darnold, and they've had a bye week, so I'll take Houston in an upset.
I'm going to give you another chance for a game picker-upper. I will take the Seahawks as well.
Hayes could be right back in this.
Yeah, yes, he
I mean, after this
or
week.
What? Yeah, Hayes says, why not? You're trying to win, right? I'll go first here. Lions at home against the Bucks. The Bucks are playing very well. I think the Lions are going to beat them at home. I'll take them. JJ?
Yeah, too many injuries for the Bucks for me. I think they drop this one.
Hayes Carline.
I can't pick against Baker Mayfield. He's been incredible. I think they might get Mike Evans back, but it really doesn't matter who he's throwing to. He's just willing his team, and so I'll say Tampa Bay stays hot.
And right back to you, Hayes, in the Moneyball, Rams and Jags at Wembley.
I like the Rams here. I just think, to me, it's the apprentice going up against the master. Usually in football, that means the master is going to win the game. I think McVay and his guys, Matthew Stafford, I don't think the Jags have seen a quarterback as good as Stafford, as well-rounded as Stafford with the mental game. Even without Puka Nacua, I think they do enough. I like the Rams.
JJ.
Yeah, it makes it difficult not knowing if Puka's going to play. I'm going to go with the Rams here. I'll go with the favorite.
Yeah, I'm going to take them too. And Jaguar fans all want me to because every time I pick against the Jags, they win. So I'm doing them a favor. I'll take the Rams as well. So our picks look like this in the college realm. Hayes got game picker-upper with USC. JJ and I both like Notre Dame. LSU and Vandy. I want Vandy at home. These two guys both like LSU, so game picker-upper there. Game picker-upper opportunity for JJ, Tennessee and Alabama. Hayes and I both like Tennessee on the road there. JJ likes Bama at home. And Ole Miss, Hayes likes Ole Miss on the road. JJ and I both like Georgia at home. Hayes likes the Colts on the road at the Chargers. JJ and I don't. Hayes likes the Texans on the road at the Seahawks. JJ and I don't. Hayes likes the Bucks on the road against the Lions. JJ and I don't. And we all took the Rams to win.
This is a big week.
This could be a very big week.
And all these games are juicy, man.
It's a great week.
Great. Yeah, you've done a good job.
Usually, like the last couple of weeks, the NFL's kind of been like, Yeah. But these ones, whoa.
Yeah, you've done. Hayes does our picks. You did a good job coming up those games. One more time, the standings. J.J. LaSelva out of North Central Marion County down there, 35-21, 44 total points. I'm 30-26 for 35 total points. Hayes Carline from the Moss Point Grill having a tough year, 24-32, 32 total points. Well, here's what I'll tell you. Either you're back in it, or you're playing the walk-ons.
I mean, eventually you got to think one of these weeks it's going to be our
It's
week.
gonna
And
come
if it's
through.
this week, we'll be right back in it.
that's
So
exactly right.
hopefully come Monday, we'll have a different discussion.
So there you go. You're exactly right. So we'll see what ends up happening. Those are our picks, and it's an awful lot of fun to do those picks. We didn't talk a lot about it because it's Stanford, but we talked a great deal about FSU in the first day or two about the game against Pitt. I wonder, the question I asked Tom Block is, where is this team really emotionally? I mean, they don't know each other. They don't know the school very well. The portal danger, the portal problem is when it's going great, it's great. When not, how locked in does your team stay? Now, on top of all that, they've got a 5-hour flight. They've got to wait around all day. They got a game that's still played at 10:30 on their watches. I don't think Stanford can beat them because Stanford – let me rephrase that. Can is the wrong word. I don't think Stanford will beat them because I think Stanford is so bad. But the way things are going for FSU, it's a good thing they're playing a team that's struggling that bad. I don't know where the Noles are emotionally.
That's the thing for me is it's like, what kind of intensity is FSU going to have in this game? And look, it's football. There's 11 men on the other side. Even if those 11 men aren't as talented as you are, if those 11 men came to fight, it could be a sticky challenge. And Stanford, for them, they haven't lost at home. They're 2-0 at home, so they're going to have that confidence. It's still FSU, so it's a chance to make Stanford's year if they can get the win over the Noles. And I think it's a real challenge for Mike Norvell, to your point, to have his players ready to play this game. You're out of the ACC race with 3 losses. None of these guys are going to care about fighting for bowl eligibility. So, I mean, what are you really trying to galvanize them to play for? You can say, hey, play for your film and play for your pride and play for your family. That's great. But we know it's nice when you can have the carrot of, look, we're still in this league race. And they're not. I mean, they're not going to make the ACC title game with 3 losses. So that's over. So if it's a lackadaisical team, a lethargic team, going up against a team that is highly motivated, even if that team isn't as talented, they can keep it close. So I think it just sets up horribly for Florida State.
I'll tell you this. If they lose this game and go to 0-4 in the league, 3-4 overall, their next game is against Wake Forest, who's 4-2 and should have beat Georgia Tech. They outplayed them. They should be 5-1.
They got robbed by the refs.
They got robbed in that game. So they're 4-2 with a really tough loss to a good Georgia Tech team. Then 3 of the last 4 games for Florida State are at Clemson, at NC State, and at Florida. And so none of those teams are great, but
Clemson's getting better.
It'd be Florida's last game, maybe with this group together, So, boy, oh boy, you lose this game.
And they don't have a great history at NC State anyway.
Yeah, right. So, and that's another one of those road Friday nighters. So we'll see what happens. Let's take a break. We'll be back to wrap the program after this.
It's the ride home with the Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
This is Brent Musburger's Visa in Action update on 1010XL. Brought to you by Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning. When you're stuck, call the Duck. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
College football, top 3 betting favorites are quarterbacks to win the Heisman Trophy. Miami's Carson Beck leading the pack at plus 350. Alabama's Ty Simpson at plus 400. And Indiana's Fernando Mendoza is at plus 450 to win the honor in New York City. Ohio State, number 1 in both the AP and the coaches poll, are plus 325 to win the College Football National Championship for the 2nd year in a row. Alabama, who opened up the season losing to Florida State, now with 5 straight wins, plus 650 to win the national title. Miami plus 750. The Indiana Hoosiers are plus 900, and Georgia and Oregon both plus 1,000.
Cash back for every bet with a GBank signature Visa card. VSIN.com/GBank.
I'm Tony Desiri with your Visa in Action update on 1010XL.
Business owners, are you tired of getting the runaround from your plumbing or AC vendors? Fire them now and call Duck Duck Rooter. Duck Duck Rooter is the trusted partner for some of the largest commercial companies in Northeast Florida. From a professional accounting office that makes contracts and invoicing seamless to highly skilled field technicians who fix the problems fast, they handle it all. Make the smart move today with Duck Duck Rooter. Call 904-862-6769. 904-862-6769. Duck Duck Rooter, a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Jax is more than a city, beaches, suburbs, or a destination. We're a community that takes care of each other. I'm former Jaguar Tom McManus. J-Dog Junk Removal and Hauling is dedicated to serving you with respect and integrity. From estate cleanouts to furniture and appliance removal, we handle it all. Call 506-1256 for your free estimate today. We're here for you. We're veteran-owned and operated. J-Dog Junk Removal and Hauling.
Frank Frangie here. These days, it's hard to know which companies to trust. When it comes to banking, I trust South State Bank. South State truly values its customers, and they work hard to create meaningful, lasting relationships. I love going into my local branch. I see the same smiling faces I've seen for years. South State is the largest bank headquartered in Florida, so they're able to offer all the banking services you need. You can trust South State Bank. Banking forward. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Have you or someone you care about been arrested or had their driver's license taken away? I'm Susan Cohen, and I work with David Robbins at the law firm of Epstein & Robbins. We are experienced fighters for those charged with DUI and all criminal offenses. I've been named the best DUI attorney in the state, and David has been named the best criminal defense lawyer in Jacksonville. In your battle with the justice system, there is only one thing you need to know. Dial David 24/7 at Epstein & Robbins, 354-5645.
Jacksonville is my hometown, and nobody knows roofing like me. I'm Ronnie, the owner of Brandon Roofing. We handle everything from repairs to full roof replacements, start to finish. We give honest quotes, use quality materials, and clean up like we were never there. We all look at Google reviews, so go ahead and check out ours. We're proud of all our 5-star ratings. I would say we treat you like family, but some people don't like theirs. Go to BrandonRoofing.com today to schedule your free roof quote.
License number CCC 1328006.
There are 3 certainties in life: death, taxes, and if you stay in your home long enough, a new roof. Pick it here for our friends at Lockhart Roofing. Nobody better in Jacksonville. How do I know? They are a local certified Master Elite contractor, and that means they have a GAF Master Elite warranty. That's the best in the roofing industry. In this day and age, don't settle for cheaper discount roofers. Lockhart Roofing has been here for decades. They aren't going anywhere. Call my friends at Lockhart Roofing, 994-3851. That's 994-3851. Lockhart Roofing, Jacksonville's best for Jacksonville people.
Attention men and women. If you would like to get your hair back, then you need to listen to some of our clients. John in Orange Park.
IHRS showed me what was causing my hair loss and helped stop it.
Call IHRS now at 904-777-IHRS. Find out how to grow your hair back with a free hair and scalp examination. Mike from Bay Meadows.
I finally found the most experienced company who could restore my hair. Now I have hair where I had none before.
Results guaranteed. Diane from Ponte Vedra.
Now I have what lotions couldn't give me. Thick, beautiful hair.
Find out why you're losing your hair and how to grow your hair back. Call 904-777-IHRS for a limited time free hair and scalp examination.
Now my hair will grow for the rest of my life. Thanks, IHRS.
Thank you, IHRS.
Thanks, IHRS, for giving me my hair back.
Hurry and receive a free hair and scalp examination and get 2 weeks of laser treatments for free. Call IHRS at 904-777-IHRS. That's 904-777-4477. HairForMe.com.
Daly's Dash is not only your Jaguars game day stop, but a great place to grab a meal any day of the week. To honor the Jags and the fans, we've crafted the Duval Sub. The Duval comes with freshly sliced turkey, ham, melted cheddar, and habanero jack cheese, topped with crisp lettuce, fresh tomatoes, and a double portion of our secret sauce, all served on a fresh roll. Come by your local's Daly's Dash today to get your delicious Duval Sub. Daly's is the official convenience store sponsor of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still, present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch.
Back to a Coyle & Sons Wednesday. Since 1927, they've been around the block and probably fenced it, too.
And we thank our friends from Coyle & Sons. Guys, they do a really good job. It's a really good fence company, whether you want residential fencing, whether you want commercial fencing, overhead doors, bathroom partitions, and in specialty stuff like they've done for us at that Bregan Baseball Complex. They've been so good. Call them at 904-356-4821. Go to Coyle, C-O-Y-L-E, Jacks.com. Any of your fencing needs, again, I can tell you, folks all over town are already talking to them about doing their fencing, people that I know of. So Coyle & Sons Fencing Company, they really are. They're fantastic. They really do a great job. All right, my last few minutes here before I'm going across the pond tomorrow. The Jags, an interesting game. It's not a house money game. You want to win the game when you're 4-2. But I think you can survive this one if you don't, because you get to catch your breath during an off week, a much-deserved one. And then I think the schedule softens up a little bit. That doesn't mean I think they're going to lose or want them to lose. I just think the world doesn't end. Having said that, it's another opportunity to play a game that you're accustomed to, that your opponent's not. It's an opportunity to play in a stadium that most of your players have played in, to play in a town where most of your players have, against a team that is not accustomed to that. So at the very least, I expect an interesting game on Sunday morning.
I think so, too. I mean, I think the biggest thing will be, can the Jaguars' offensive line handle the Rams' physicality? Because to me, this game sets up a lot like the Seattle game, except the Rams have a better quarterback. And Darnold's playing at a very high level, but he's not Matthew Stafford. And so I think it's a big test for Anthony Campanile, because I don't think he's really gone up against a guy. I mean, just sort of going through it. You've gone through Bryce Young, C.J. Stroud, Darnold, Brock Purdy.
Right.
You haven't
Jake Browning more than
Burrow.
Yeah.
So he hasn't really seen a guy that has had a million reps at the NFL level at that position. So obviously not having Puka Nacua does make it interesting, but I would think with Devontae Adams and again they're balanced with Kyron Williams, I think it would be tough. If the Jaguars win the game, then I think you come back in the bye. And you're talking about making a run at home field advantage, because the schedule really does start to lighten up, and particularly when you look at what the Colts and again the Texans have in talking about winning the AFC South as well. So if you win the game, I think it's euphoria, and I think you've really put yourself in a fantastic spot.
Yeah.
If you lose the game, obviously a couple losses in a row, that's never great. But at 4-3, to your point, chance to get healthy. And your final 10 are much easier than what your first 7 have been. So then, yeah, I mean, I almost do think there's a little bit of house money to this. I would definitely think it was if they were going to LA.
Yeah.
And even if they were kind of at home, I might think that. London certainly I think is an advantage for the Jaguars, but I still think it's going to be awfully difficult for them to beat the Rams.
Yeah, The last 10 games include the Raiders, the Jets, 2 against the Titans, 2 against the Colts who are playing well, the Chargers, but that's a home game. I mean,
the Cardinals.
They're the Cardinals. So it's, and again, all NFL teams are good. They're NFL teams, but it's a totally different schedule than a run that included Houston, San Francisco, Kansas City, Seattle, and the Rams in a row. I mean, if Burrow doesn't get hurt, you're playing Burrow, Stroud, Purdy, Mahomes, Darnold, Stafford in a row. That's pretty good. I mean, I mean, Burrow got hurt, but that's a pretty tough.
And I didn't mention Mahomes, which I should have. I mean, obviously Mahomes is the lead as it gets.
But other than him,
but Stafford is still plays with a savvy that is very rare in this league. So he is again. Liam Cohen hit the nail on the head. It's tough because you can't trust his eyes.
Yeah.
And so as a defensive back, it's like, well, you've been taught your whole life to move to where his eyes are. And you don't want to get caught in no man's land, where even if you respect the fact that that's probably not where he's going, are you then able to still then break if he elects to go in a different area? It's going to be difficult for some Jag safeties that didn't have their best night the other night.
Let's say a little Rick Ballou, who's on location.
Now, the 2-minute drill is driven by nobody but Nimnicht. Nimnicht Chevrolet on Cassett Avenue and Nimnicht Buick GMC on Phillips Highway.
All right, Rick is at Twin Peaks. Rick, what's going on, buddy?
Oh, man, what a place. It's absolutely fired up and ready to go. Tons of people bellying up to the bar. And it's something I'm going to try to figure out. I think I'm going to ask a waitress here in just one moment. But 32 degrees is freezing, correct?
Yeah.
They got their beers here at 28.6.
How about
and I'm
that?
trying to I see them
It's
come
cold.
out.
It's icy beers.
They're frothy and it's just they're so good, and I'm so jealous because I have a Diet Coke here. But we invite you all to come on by Twin Peaks on Atlantic. We're going to have a huge time here tonight, getting a little bit closer to that Jaguars game against the Rams. Also, some college football over the next couple of hours. So, really excited about it.
Well, I wasn't coming until you told me those beers were frothy. that changes everything. So, Rick's going to talk a lot of Jaguars football. He's going to talk some Seminole and Gator football, all coming up in just a bit. Live at Twin Peaks coming up. Rick, thanks, buddy.
All right, guys. See ya.
Rick Ballou live at Twin Peaks. Go and hang out with Rick over there on Atlantic Boulevard. We're out of here. tomorrow, you and Hacker.
Yeah, have a great trip.
Thanks,
and
buddy.
have a great vacation.
I appreciate it. Thank you, Hayes. I'll be checking in at some point, probably more in the next 2 days, not on the vacation, so there is that. So I appreciate it. And appreciate you and JJ holding down the fort. That'll do it for our show. Rick's next. Stay tuned.